Could you please share the story of Ramesh's son passing away and how Ramesh was judged about this incident?
Yeah, I think what is very interesting about Ramesh is the coincidences which used to take place, at least in my interactions with him.
Yeah.
And one classic example was one weekend I was with someone who was with Ramesh in the Nisardat Maharaj days.
Okay.
And he, out of the blue, told me that, Ramesh, when he lost his son,
Yes.
instead of coming back for the funeral, can you imagine he went to the States for satsang? How insensitive of him.
Yeah.
And I just listened to this and I said, fine, this man is expressing himself. I didn't know too much about this background. And he said, can you imagine what this is, what today's gurus do? Where's the sensitivity? Son is dead, he should go back. And here he's gone to give seminars and talks. So I said, fair enough. I just kept quiet, listened to the man. That was the end of that. Also, I thought. Next weekend, I used to go to Ramesh only on the weekends. Sunday to Sunday to Sunday. I went early. So I went into his room, sat with Ramesh and Sharda. We were chatting. And I don't know even how the talk came up. But it came up. It was regarding his son who passed away. And he told me, he said, Gautam, I remember this incident. My son passed away. The seminar was organized. People were coming from different parts to attend the seminar. And I got the news that my son had passed away. And I was in a situation. There was so much grief. Do I rush back? Or since he has passed away, and so many people have made efforts, the organizers have made efforts, my tickets are booked, should I go there and speak about the teaching? And I had to really figure this out because I was in this situation and I took a decision which was painful and I went forward. I went onward to my trip and I explained it to my wife.
Yeah.
And she was, of course, giving me full support. And I knew that people would talk. How insensitive of him. I knew they would talk. I had that awareness, but yet I said, no, that is the past. It's done. It's over. It's my grief. Grief will arise and I am going to go ahead. What got me was how the source or consciousness made Ramesh say this incident to me 1 week after this man told me about this incident from his perspective. I think that is really,
Amazing.
for me, these incidents are very funny at one level. I mean, you're like, what the hell,
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
And it shows you the perspective that there are always two sides to everything. There's going to be judgments which are hailed upon you. People are going to talk, which happened in this case. But ultimately, you do what you feel and think you should do.
So, what do you feel one could learn from this story and take out of it?
Well, for me, I think it's very clear that judgments at the end of the day are futile. To judge people for something they are supposed to have done. I mean, what they do is up to them.
Correct.
It's their decision, it's their life. There's no point sitting in judgment and saying, can you imagine this person did this person did that. I mean, how could he, how could she? I think one has seen the futility of all this, that this whole weight of judging others is quite a waste of time, And it's irrelevant because the man did exactly what he felt he should do in full awareness. So really, where does my judgment come in? So I just feel this was a classic example of the teaching shining forth.
Yeah.
In action and in also showing me that this is what was stated, 1 week ago and this is what is being stated now. Both, of course, are aspects, I can't say that one person was right, one person was wrong. The person who passed a judgment was right from his angle, But yet, it's very clear to me that it is a futile exercise to judge people and situations. It really is, and this really shone through.
It's very easy when things are nice and rosy to be present and centered. But in a situation like this where Ramesh lost someone very dear to him and where one would normally be most attached, how is it that he was not shaken? And how could somebody, what could they learn from this and how could they integrate it into their own lives?
I think firstly, I'm not sure that he wasn't shaken. I think anyone would be shaken. The fact that, just because he was a sage does not mean he was shaken, but in spite of that, he had the clarity, and I think more than the clarity, he had the compassion to go forward. That is what drove him forward, was the compassion for others. That is truly the only motivation to teach, if you ask me. And the only reason I can see why Ramesh sat in that chair, the fundamental reason for that, and not just Ramesh, I feel any teachers, genuine teachers who are teaching are only doing it out of compassion. Otherwise, they are happy to sit relaxed back at home and chill out, There's no need to go out there and teach. So, for me, that is a pointer, because the grief, if one was stuck in it and it became mourning in horizontal time and one was mired in what could have been, what should have been, there's no way he could have gone forward and spoken and taught, So it was the sheer understanding, Ramesh had a phrase which he used early on in his teachings called understanding in action is witnessing. I think when that operates, then that clarity comes in and you're no longer mired in the whole psychodrama of, your own story and stretching it into horizontal time, left, right, up, down, and you're in the moment. With that awareness, that decision can be made that, okay, I need to move forward.